Hey everybody, it's vlog 38. I know it's been quite a while, a little over 2 weeks since I last posted a video. Actually recording this pretty late at night. It's 12:30 at night. I was out. I went out about 8:30 to the cellar, and just thought I was gonna have 1 or 2 beers. Figured usually my favorite bartender, she's there on Wednesday nights, and usually some good conversation to be had with a couple of the other regulars on Wednesday nights. And I hadn't been on a Wednesday night in a while, so I actually had, because both my mom and dad they're feeling a little under the weather, so it was rather early, I guess, and they were gonna be going to bed, and I came upstairs and I back up to my room, and I just part of me wanted to get out and just, you know, do something, if anything, just take a drive. But I knew I didn't have much gas in my car, and I didn't feel like going to the gas station. So, and I'm deciding all this, of course, in my room, not while I'm in my car, not yet. But so I decided I'll go down to the cellar. I haven't been down there in a while, so I'll pop in and see how things are. Came in. Some of the regulars were there. Leonard and Bill. Of course, you guys don't know these people, but they're good guys. They're both probably about 20 years older than me, if not more. But they're real fun guys. One thing that I've always noticed, ever since I had started going to the cellar, I was making friends with people who were, you know, older than I was by 10, 15, 20 or more years. And so that's usually, it was just a strange thing that I started to notice after a while of going there. I was like, wow, I know like maybe 2 or 3 people who were my age who come in here too. But anyway, so everybody we all talked, laughed, you know, had some good times. Met a new, well, these people were apparently regulars as well, but I somehow never met them. A guy named Orlando and his wife Joan, I think, if that's what he told me. And we had a good long chat, actually, and I was getting ready to leave, and then I got into a big chat with them. So I ended up staying. I mean, I didn't leave until like 11:45, and I got there around 9. You know, I wasn't expecting to stay that long. You know, whatever. I kind of just, you know, I follow the flow. That's how things are going. But anyway, I'm going to talk back on some of the things that's been happening. This past weekend, my parents were out of town to go. They went to Silva, North Carolina, to visit my sister, who lives over there, and and um, I elected to stay home. I've never been over there. Um, I would have liked to see my sister, but I didn't really think. I didn't know if I just didn't have the feeling of that I would be fine mentally going to a strange place. I mean, sometimes I have to go to strange places, and that's a pretty heavy stress on me when that happens. Um, so, but anyway, they were gone, and one night I now have a calendar inside my medicine cabinet, and I've split all the days in half. Basically, drawn a line through all of them to split them in AM and PM, or morning and night. And when I take my pills, I check off the box, and that way I can tell whether or not I've taken my meds or not. Because I've been having some trouble recently taking my night meds, especially morning meds. I never forget those. That it's just something that happens. Um, uh, uh, so one night, I think it was Saturday night. I forgot to take my night medication. I woke up on Sunday, and this was the day they were going to be coming home, but they wouldn't be home until the evening. Uh, in my infinite wisdom, now I knew what Seroquel, I know what Seroquel does um, to me, and there's a reason why I take it at night, is because it's an extremely sedative, or yeah, extremely sedative medication. And I actually asked my psychiatrist, and he said, yeah, it's probably one of the most sedative medications or antipsychotics out there. So anyway, I thought, man, I don't want to have a bad day, because I know what it feels like when I don't take it. So I was like, well, completely forgetting the fact that it's so sedative, I decided to take it in the morning. And man, that was a bad idea. Uh, I I had to fix some dinner, so what I did was have the ingredients to make our family's homemade chili, and our family's version of chili, or recipe for chili, and so anyway, I mean, making chili is really easy. I already had all the ingredients except for I needed some hamburger meat. You know, I needed some ground beef. So I headed off to the local uh, grocery, and I went inside, and the place was different because they're sort of redesigning it and rebuilding part of it. So immediately they're thrown out the window is the familiarity of the place. You know, big, huge aisle cabinets were gone, and so it was just a weird experience. I mean, I got in, and after I was in there for about 5 minutes, and that was me working around all the other people in the store and trying to avoid issues, and because people who come to this grocery, it's not a Food Lion, it's not a big grocery store. It's a small chain grocery store, and I think they're only located in North Carolina. Um, it's called the Fresh Market. There's a I think they started out in Winston-Salem or Greensboro, somewhere like that. But anyway, um, we have one here, and uh, it's very unique. But anyway, like I said, about 5 minutes into the place, I I was working my way back to the meat counter so I could get my ground beef, and then I heard something. It was this whizzing noise and then a snap. Those sounds were basically simultaneous, and I kind of looked around and wondered if anyone else heard this noise because it was very loud. Um, then, as if though, like a rainstorm coming in, the rain starts out as 1, 2, 3 drops, and then it eventually increases to, it's raining. And what happened with me was I started hearing these noises, of sounds of things like whizzing past my head. And being someone who's I knew what that sound was because I've heard it before. It's the sound of bullets whizzing and snapping and popping and zinging past my head. Um, at first I looked around because I wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one hearing this, that maybe this was something else. I wasn't thinking, somebody's shooting up the Fresh Market. No, I immediately thought that I was hallucinating because I noticed other people around the store were not reacting in any sort of way to these noises that I was perceiving to hear. So anyway, finally get back to the meat department, and I know one of the guys who works back there. He's a nice guy, and he gets me my meat. We have a little chat, and while we're doing that, I can still hear the the bullets snapping and cracking past my head, and I got my ground beef, said goodbye to the guy, and then I went off to another section of the store and to pick up some juice, and it, it just intensified. It was like I walked into a firefight. There were sounds of bullets flying past me or flying in another direction, all sorts of directions. And there was even the sound of bullet impacts on things like none of this was visual. I wasn't seeing, like, say, Matrix wise, I wasn't seeing these bullets whipping past me. No, they weren't leaving trails. No, but then there were noises that were making sounds like they were hitting things on the shelves. They were ricocheting off of metal equipment in the store. Basically, like I said, it was as if though a large firefight between two factions started up, and I was in the dead center of it. Now, I don't know what my actions were like. I don't recall if I was ducking or acting strange or, you know, getting on the ground. I have no memory of that, but I don't think I did because nobody was really looking at me strange. So, I was pretty sure that this was an auditory hallucination, and it marked the first time in a pretty good while that I had a full blown hallucination in public. Uh, so it was. The interesting was it wasn't really frightening me. It was just making me more anxious, and it was making me almost irritated. So I quickly found a line where there was nobody, and I checked out quickly, and then I quickened my pace and got to the door and left the building. And as I left the building, the sounds of the firefight drowned out slowly as I got further and further from the store. I got to my car, wasn't hearing anything, started my car up, left, went back home. There was nothing else. The hallucination was over. Not sure why it decided to happen. Um, I do admit that uh, taking the Seroquel during the day may have had something to do with it. I mean, it's only rational to think that way. Excuse me. Like I said, it's late. But yeah, that was an interesting experience. So we'll have to see. I'm hoping not to have any relapses. I mean, luckily after that weekend, I had both my psychiatrist appointment and my therapy appointment. They were both on the same day. So I relayed the story to both of my doctors, and didn't really get a reaction one way or another, at least from my psychiatrist. He seemed to think that it was probably caused because I had taken the Seroquel, and that just screwed up all sorts of things in my head. And when I think about it, the reason I took the Seroquel, even though I knew that it would probably make me drowsy, I thought that it wouldn't make me as drowsy as I thought it would. And I much rather wanted to not feel terrible and frightened like I would feel if I was off the med. I mean, even for a day, you miss it once, and it's the next day you're basically fucked. You can't. There's nothing you can do. But tonight, I've already taken my medication, so, and that's an important thing for people like me. Is you gotta take your meds. Can't just not take them. I understand some people have issues with taking medication, and that it's difficult for them, but luckily for me, I've been taking medication since I was in grade school, you know, swallowing pills. You know, when I was a young child, I was on Ritalin, you know, and then various other meds. So, taking pills was never a big deal for me. Um, so, you know, and that's really the biggest stuff that's really happened over this past 2 weeks or so. Nothing really else. Been watching hockey. Canes are playing good. Um, let's see. What? There's not much else. Just watching some TV. Just been watching some TV shows that are on. The following. That's been really great. It's 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 pretty gruesome, pretty graphic at times, but Kevin Bacon, he's a hell of an actor, and it's crazy that he's not in more stuff. I mean, he's such a fantastic actor, and I mean the entire cast is fantastic for this, and it's fun to kind of know some of the because it deals with a cult of Edgar Allan Poe worshippers or whatever. They follow what he had written. All set up by this guy who apparently finished Poe's final work that Poe never was able to finish because he committed suicide or something. I can't remember if he actually finished the guy's book or not. But anyway, he went to jail for murdering a bunch of people and killing them in Poe. Killing them in Poe style fashions. So anyway, that's been fun. And I think that's all I got. I mean, I could probably sit here and tuck your ear off some more, but I'm getting a little sleepy and it's late. So go in this year. Maybe we'll do another video more than. And I know I've said before, I try to do a video at least once a week, but like I said, things went crazy this past weekend, so I wasn't in the right mind. So anyway, we'll sign off, and you guys take it easy. See you later.